What's going on, everybody? I'm Keith, host of Just Our Thoughts with the Fellas, where 4 to 5 of my brothers give their perspective on national as well as local news. We touch on some trending hot topics as well as culturally relevant news. We also get a chance to dive into some deep core conversations. Check us out live every other Monday at 7 p.m. You can find us on Just Our Thoughts on YouTube live, as well as Just Our Thoughts fan page on Facebook. Also, please don't forget to follow us on IG, JOT with the Fellas.
What up?
Yo, what's up, fellas?
What up?
Good evening, doctors. As EB
What's going on, brother?
Yeah,
What's up, doctors?
man,
Yeah.
not much. Yo, man.
Monday.
Yeah, Monday, definitely.
Yes,
and that sums it up. That's all you gotta say.
Yes, sir.
Monday.
But man, last week, like through the middle of the week, I had seen this tweet somebody put out saying that Lauryn Hill was not a legendary rapper. She just put out a legendary album.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day I seen that, she sold 10 million copies of The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
So 10 times, man. It's like they said it's called diamond status now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
She's the first one.
First female rapper to go diamond.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like, what's y'all takes on Lauryn Hill? Because I think L Boogie is one of the baddest.
I know KD is huge on L Boogie. I know that's his girl right there. He's always been big on her. I don't go past too much. I don't go too much past her first album. I don't go too much now. If it's on, I'm not turning anything else off. But like everyone, that first album, man, you don't even have to hit stop or pause or anything. If anything, you're gonna push press rewind. Or go back if it's a disc. If we talking about a disc, we going back. So Lauryn Hill, man, I don't know, a legend. I think it's You think about it though, like legendary. I'm not going to say it's valid what he's saying, but I ain't gonna say. I don't know. I'm not sure. I ain't even. I'm gonna wait to hear what y'all got to say about that.
Legendary status, man.
Legendary KD.
I mean, even if you just stand alone with Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, there's not one cut like INF was saying. There's not one track on there that you're gonna skip past. You're gonna Lost Ones, X Factor, to Zion, Doo-Wop. So, man, even the cut, Nothing Even Matters with D'Angelo. How good of a duo for a duet. For a love song back then. I mean, this album had it all, from hip hop to her vocal ability. This woman is a genius. It's a shame that some things in her personal life may have sidetracked that. You know what I'm saying? Stardom hit her at an early age. Things within the Fugees complicated some things as well. But it don't take away that just stand alone on this album by itself. The album by itself,
KD. The album by itself says that she's legendary.
The album by itself, man. I mean, she's not a one-hit wonder, man.
No, not at all. No, not at all.
But this one, and she's had a couple, not critically acclaimed music after this. You know what I'm saying? Right. But this alone right here, man, who wasn't feeling Lauryn Hill back in 96, 97 from the Fugees with The Score, right? That whole album. And then the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. She was on every cover of every black magazine that you looked at that time, man. So legendary, man. Legendary.
I mean, I like L Boogie even before The Score. Like even with the Blunted on Reality album, I thought she had mad skill. But it's like you hear all about don't they consider Biggie a legend? He only had really two albums.
They consider him the greatest of all time. They consider him the greatest of all time.
So why can't you say L Boogie in the same bracket? You know what I mean? But it's not just her work by herself, she was sought after, between acting, and I probably a lot of people didn't hear the couple cuts she did with Callie Ranks. Yo, she is bananas.
Go ahead, E. What you saying?
I think they were judging her, man, on some of the personal things that was going on in her life.
Yeah,
they probably tried to take that away from her.
I got you.
You know what I mean? She sold 10 million. Come on, that speaks for itself. And like KD was saying, man, you could turn that thing on, man, and just let that thing play all the way through.
Let it just knock, yo. Don't even touch it. Her vocabulary, though, was just on another level on this album. Y'all got to go back and listen. When was the first time in the 90s was we using reciprocity?
Hey, yo, I got a question.
We knew about reciprocal, but not reciprocity.
Yo, check it. Do y'all think anybody else any other female would ever reach that status?
Reach L Boogie status.
10 million.
Of Diamond.
I think Mary J's My Life might be able to reach that.
Okay. Ooh, yeah.
I think Mary J's My Life would definitely reach that. But I mean, we talk about female MCs, and I don't think you could just put Lauren, just keep her in that MC rapper category. No, because she was too multifaceted. That album was spiritual, man.
Yeah,
that was spiritual.
Yeah.
It's a shame we didn't get to see more of her.
Yeah, because like what the not talked about tracks was like Tell Him and Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. Yo, I've knocked them all the time.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. Just let it play, all right?
Don't let it play.
Don't give me two cuts. Give me the whole thing.
Everybody in. Let's welcome everybody in and join us.
Come on in. Come on in. You better get on in here.
Come on in the room. Hanging out with Just Our Thoughts with the fellas. We got a lot of people on right now just chiming in. We appreciate the interaction that you guys have with us. Welcome to Just Our Thoughts with the fellas. I'm your host, Keith Hall, just hanging out, and I had the fellas. I cannot do this by myself. I need the fellas with me. I gotta have the fellas with me. They my brothers, they my compadres. So today we got them back. We got KD back with us today. What's good, KD? The professor.
What's good?
What's going on, man?
The professor's
here.
Hey,
you look like Suge Knight, man, with that black. You look like Suge Knight with your black.
Oh, the Death Row cover, the Vibe cover. Death Row. Listen, Death Row Records, baby.
Hey, you don't want to mess around with them, man. EB, what's up? What's up, E?
What's up, fellas? How y'all making out tonight?
Good,
man.
Glad to have you back, E. Glad you have you back, man, with us, man.
Yes, sir. Good to be back. Good to be back.
Ward Heem, what's good?
Yo, what's up, man? What's up?
Hey, this is Just Our Thoughts with the fellas, where we talk about local and national news. We touch on trending topics. We touch on current events. We also have some core conversations on here, and we just try to have some fun and joy. If you can, share this on your Facebook page with any and everyone. You can also go to Just Our Thoughts on YouTube and subscribe for us, please. Also, go to Just Our Thoughts on Facebook. And share. It don't cost you anything to share what we are doing. We want to thank you for joining us. Right now, we got everybody tagging in, coming in with us. We got some good conversation coming up. Yeah. But first, let's go. What we got? What's some trending topics, man? What we got? Trending. What's some trending topics?
One quick hitter is it's been talked about the NBA and the vaccination. There's been some talk about the NBA players not really wanting to put their full 100% endorsement behind the vaccine. And it's got some people a little ruffled and concerned about that, about NBA players not endorsing it, meaning that they possibly would opt out of taking it. So the question is should players be able to play the game without taking the vaccination? And they're posing that question because of how it might affect the other businesses that are associated with these arenas and with the teams. You know, all the training staff and medical staff and all these other employees of the team in the arena they have to get tested like the NBA players, and they will possibly need to be vaccinated for the good of the NBA players, right? Because that's the product. You want the product on the floor, and you want the product healthy. So it's probably going to be an emphasis for those people around the NBA players to get vaccinated. But like Lauryn Hill said, reciprocity. Are the NBA players going to do that in return for the sake of those around them that are supporting the team, that have these businesses? These are these individuals' livelihoods, so for the sake of these businesses to thrive, to get fans back in the arena, for these concession stands to open up, for these paraphernalias to be sold, it's up in the air right now, and they're looking at the fact that these NBA players are just not endorsing it, not really giving a stance at all on whether or not that they would be open to taking this vaccination.
Yeah, so I know the Players Association is playing a big part of that. In terms of how this is going to play out. One of the things I heard early in the season, is only, like a month or two old. Early in the season, I heard that the players aren't really in their locker rooms as much anymore. They're not hanging around the practice facility. They're in and they're out. They have people getting these players in and out of the locker rooms, in and out of the wherever they go to get medical attention. They getting them in and out, so they are taking some necessary precautions on that. But it's interesting, and I do want to see how this play out, because it's big money.
So what is money. It's just been chatter amongst the players saying
this, or is there
right any
now.
Word?
It's a discussion
from
right now.
From the NBA itself.
Nah, it's just in its initial stages right now.
Oh, it's just buzzing around.
Because this vaccine is rolling out. You're getting first responders, you're getting teachers. EB's going to talk a little bit about the school reopenings, and one of the emphasis is going to be on the teachers being of priority, like essential workers. So they're looking at these sports teams to be almost essential because of the big bucks that they bring in.
Oh, definitely.
And again, this vaccination may be something that the Players Association and the league will. I'm not going to say mandate, but they're trying to. They're probably going to have these guys go in that direction if possible. So just stay tuned.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
E, did you have something? Yeah,
man. Go ahead. What you gonna say, Keith?
No, I was going to move on to the next one, but I want to hear what you got.
No, go ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead on that one.
Yo, so speaking of the NBA, right? So a month ago, I think we talked about it in the chat. The NBA, demands that the Star Spangled Banner. I'm sorry, the national anthem is played right before the game.
Same thing.
What you mean? Same? It's the same.
No,
thing.
That's the Star Spangled Banner. Yeah.
You're right. So what's the I wanted to get your thoughts on, like, do y'all think that's necessary? Like, in this stage?
Not at all.
I mean, is that necessary to play the Star Spangled Banner before every game? Like, what does it say? I know they do it in Canada, and actually at the All-Star game, they played in Canada. National anthem,
every sporting event.
Every sporting event. Like what is I don't know what the purpose is.
I never got it. When I played sports in high school, I never liked it. I just didn't. I always kind of like hung my head whenever they did play it.
I saw something that talked about they started doing that like way back when, like near like World War I and Major League Baseball, just like way back. So
maybe in baseball,
started in baseball just to kind of show an appreciation of the United States of America. So that's where that thing kind of stemmed from. But is it something that we have to do on a regular? Nah, I wouldn't say so.
Nah, because you got to, and then especially like with the NFL, that it wasn't a mandatory thing in the NFL, and they never played it. The players weren't on the field when they did play it, But it was just what was it, 2008 or 2009?
Yeah, they didn't.
Is when the military actually paid the NFL to play it.
Okay,
it's just patriotism.
You could play it as long as it's either Marvin Gaye's version or Whitney Houston.
Oh,
okay.
It don't matter to
I'll
me.
take it. I'll take it.
1983, KD. Was that 1983?
Yeah.
That was Marvin Gaye.
Lakers.
Yes, the Lakers. Yeah. And Whitney was what? Was that like 92? Was that about 93?
I remember watching that game. I forget which one it was. But I definitely remember watching that game.
And she killed it. All right.
She blew that one away.
Yeah. Listen, that's white America's long-standing tradition, and they don't want to break one of their rituals, one of their traditions. I don't know if somebody's even getting any money every time this is sung at some sporting event on the low. You never know. You never know if somebody getting paid or getting some royalties off of this, Keith. You know what I'm saying? It's all money.
In addition to Whitney's and Marvin Gaye's, I love listening to Carl Lewis's. Carl Lewis's.
You mean for a laugh, Keith? Keith, you mean for a laugh?
Yeah, definitely for a laugh.
For a laugh.
Does that song spin? Come on now. Remember he started, was like, come on now. Man. I mean, it's one of white America's long-standing traditions. We could do without it. Give me some lift every voice and sing. Can I get that? Can I get the Negro anthem? Can I get the Negro anthem at least for Black History? At least for Black History Month?
No, sir. You ain't getting that one.
Not even in February.
Moving along, man. Moving along. What's some other trending topics we got going on?
Yeah, you want to talk about the CDC with the?
Let me know what's going on with that. I'm not too up on that.
Yeah, man. Well, there's been some talk, man, about safely reopening all of the schools. Depending on what city, what state, what school district you're in, man. Some are hybrid, some are 100% remote. But I was watching some CNN earlier today, man, and they had the CDC director on there, Dr. Rochelle Walensky. She was right alongside Dr. Fauci. And she was pointing out some of the few things, man, that we already know, man. Proper use of face masks, hand hygiene, and, social distancing and some of those good things right there. But she said that they laid out a plan. It's called the operational strategy. So if you get a chance, take a look at that operational strategy.
Okay.
Yeah, I had an opportunity just to kind of take a peek at the executive summary of that. So what they're proposing is, small in-class sizes, cohort classes, basically some of them things that, remember back in middle school when we were, in class, like 8-1 would follow 8-1. That's ideal for middle school. But in high school, that's going to be tough, man, because you think about it. All four of us could have had 6-period lunch at the high, right? But we had different foreign languages that we took, right?
Right.
So those are some of the things that they're talking about. No sharing of objects, cleaning of local areas and things like that. But the last thing I wanted to point out was I saw something on the news the other day, and some of the parents, man, they had some reservations because they want to make sure that the ventilation is in line and in order.
Right.
Exactly, man.
So that everybody is safe and secure, man. So that's where we are.
These buildings are so old, E. A lot of these buildings are old and the ventilation systems is poor. And it's just going to recirculate this respiratory virus around, and that's why there needs to be federal dollars rolled into these schools, these older buildings. I think that's one of the reasons why they shut down Yorkship and one of the other schools in Camden as well, because they're old, because they're old, and try and bring kids back
there. If they took proper maintenance and changed the filters all the time and properly, that would help also.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But again, they need money to really upgrade these schools and had that staggered schedule. My son EB, he got the we got an email for hybrid in person starting March 15th.
Gotcha.
So they're looking at a couple of days in, a couple of days home. They don't really know, we don't really know the logistics of the entire schedule yet, but they're talking about, moving them in at least for a couple of days during the week in March. So
we'll try that.
Okay. My heart's beating fast because
he's been home. He's been home the whole time, right?
The entire time. Yeah. And I want to say, man, his grades have been awesome being home. You know what I'm saying? He's thrived, on Zoom, being home, learning, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to see that, messed up going back in school. I hate to say.
Do y'all find that kids are the ones that are homeschooling? Do y'all find that they would rather stay home for homeschooling, or do you feel like they would do the hybrid, or rather just go to school full time?
Well, my kids are hybrid, so they're there. My school district, my kids' school district, they go in 2 days a week, Monday and Tuesday. They go in, and Wednesday through Friday, they're doing remote. So, there's mixed emotions on it, man. My kids, they would prefer to kind of go in simply because they get a chance to see some of their friends and they're excited about that. Whereas, I'm on them, on that computer, to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. But they're like, I don't want to be home. I want to be in.
And then when they go in, they're gonna be like, I want to be home. My little guy, he wants to be home. We talked about the possibility of part of the week in school, part of the week home, and he just left me with the look that, okay, I'll think about it. But, I think he preferred to be home. You just got that, you have that flexibility when you're home, just like when you're working. You got that flexibility. You got that sense of ease, even though you got the structure and the routine and you know what you got to do, it's still that flexibility when you're home.
The comfort.
That comfort.
Sometimes I wish I could work from home, because sometimes I wish I had the comfort of home.
Hey, Ward, you working on the high though, Ward. You at the high.
Hey, man. Oh yeah, definitely.
Hey, Ward, you know what though? I hear so many people say working from home is overrated and that they rather not.
Hear that, I hear that too.
I work from home and it is overrated. Ward. Believe me when
I was just being a little, I can't work from home, not one bit. But I'm just saying, some of the comforts of home I wish I had on the job.
It's hard to separate the two when you're home. You expect to come home from work and home being a place of de-stress, to unwind. But when you're working at home, it's like the two of these things, like Robin Thicke said, blurred lines. You don't know when to end work, and you don't know when to start your relaxation from work. So it can get confusing at times. Boundaries.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you can get your swerve on while you home working,
Come on, man. We ain't gonna put all our business out there. We ain't gonna put all the business out there. We ain't gonna put all the business out there. My supervisor might be looking. My supervisor.
Hey, Arlene.
Arlene be doing something while she working at home.
What's up, Arlene?
Marijuana is legal.
Yes. I gotta get up on that, man. But moving along, man, celebrating Black American Sign Language. It's something that's been coming up, man. After the George Floyd incident, those that are deaf and those that sign, they took to social media to really, to express their feelings and express how they, felt about everything that was going on. And right now, I didn't know. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting. I saw a story the other day where there's a Black American Sign Language and not just an American Sign Language. So the signing is different, and I had a chance to check out the history of it, and of course, back in 1817, when the first American Sign Language school was open, just like normal, blacks weren't allowed to attend. So, blacks had to then create their own sign language. So, one young lady, and I'm trying to remember her name, Carolyn McCaskill. She was around 5 years old in the 60s, and she went to this one school. The only school she could go to was this Black sign language school in Alabama. So at the time, she learned how to sign, do Black sign language. So I just thought this story was nice, man. I got a question for y'all later on. So as she learned the Black sign language, she was around her friends, and then she realized, look, this I need to go a little bit further. I want to be a little bit more successful. So she started learning the American Sign Language, which was the white sign language. So as she continued, her friends, which were Black, said to her, hey, you're not signing like you used to sign.
You're signing white.
You signing white.
You signing white. Just like we'll talk about somebody. Yeah, you talking white.
Right. You signing white. Yeah. So later on, and she thought like that's what was going to propel her, to be successful by signing white. She already felt as if she was at a disadvantage. So she felt as if she had to sign white to continue to be successful in whatever it is that she was trying to do. She then opened a school, and I don't want to mess the school up either, in DC. I don't want to mess it up.
Is that guy? That's not Gallaudet, is it? No.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Gallaudet. Okay.
Gallaudet. Yep. Yeah. She then opened this, proceeded to open a school in Gallaudet, and then at that point, that's when she pushed the envelope, and she accepted, Black American Sign Language as a language. So I just thought it was interesting. Now there is even those the younger generation, they sign too. Now they've gone to social media and they started signing. And they, one young lady, man, her name is, I think is Nakia or Nikisha. Nakia, her name is Nakia, and she has almost 400,000 followers on TikTok. So I just thought it was nice, man. And jokingly, she makes, she always says, look, let me lotion my hands. Let me put some grease on my hands because I don't want nobody seeing the ash on my hands while I'm signing on social media.
So you got perfect hands. You got some perfect hands.
So she likened it to, someone drinking water, as they talk and while they presenting or something like that. So I thought it was nice, man. I thought it was something I wasn't familiar with, Black American Sign.
Right.
And it is a little bit different. They what I found was that the signing is lower versus the American Sign Language, which is higher towards the forehead or the torso.
So the position of the hands, the position of the hands,
and it's some of the words that you say. Like you make some gestures with some vibe behind it, with some love behind it. You know what I mean? You could definitely make some gestures with that. So I thought it was an interesting story, man.
Yeah, because I kind of looked into it, and what I got out of it was basically all it is slang. It's just like we have our slang in speech, they have their slang in sign language. Because one of the guys that he was talking about, when he was being interviewed, the woman was asking like, well, what's so different about, the regular sign language opposed to Black sign language, and his reply was, like, okay, if I see a car and I like that car, he said, I like that car, but then he'll be like, oh, that car is tight. Well, that's, to me, that's no different than just being, slang.
Right.
You know what I mean? And of course,
it sounds more so like a. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I just feel like it's more or less slang because you got to think, because like when we were brought over, they didn't want us to speak the language that from Africa.
Right.
So they made us learn. So they made us learn English, and they were even speaking broken English. So it was like we had to learn. We had to learn a new language for somebody that really couldn't speak it themselves.
Right.
So you know what I mean. So we make up our own we learn their words, but then we come up with our own expressions.
Right.
For basically the same thing. And to me, it was just slang. it's not more or less a different language. It's just,
it's a different
slang.
dialect.
Like they want.
It sounds
it's
like
a
it's a
dialect.
different dialect, not necessarily slang, because you got certain words that we might use
Ebonics.
loosely.
You want to put Ebonics in there?
But slang is more what you might
It's the
use
same
loosely to
fucking
describe.
thing.
But
Slang.
a dialect is a specific. It is a language, but it's it's geared towards the people that are trying to speak it or say it. If I'm explaining it right, it doesn't sound too much like it's a loose slang interpretation, because you said that the black sign language, they got their whole way of saying things, right, Keith? You said they got their whole way of saying.
Yeah.
It's no different than the other languages. Just like in the Spanish, if you like you just take the word huevos, depending on if you from Puerto Rico or you from Mexico, it means two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say I love you like that?
Well, how about this one? How are you?
Yo, so in Forest Hill, in Forest Hill, I did. Y'all remember Captain Kangaroo? Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. Yo, I knew that whole thing sign language, man.
Yeah.
Years ago, though, bro. Listen, they do sign language outside of the Camden County Jail almost every day.
That's different. That's totally different. Now you want to talk about a different dialect?
Oh man, that's a different one.
That's slang.
That's a totally different dialect.
Now that's something made up right there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey,
Lord.
In other trending news, we have the man, the legend, Ted Cruz.
Oh man,
we got Senator Ted Cruz, who went on a vacation.
Ted Cruz, look at him
during the one of the most horrific storms to ever hit Texas. Ted Cruz, he decided to take a trip, to Mexico. He took a trip to Mexico during this storm and winter storm down in Texas. And he tried to blame his kids.
Yes.
Which I thought was interesting, man, how he threw his kids up under the bus on this one. And he tried to, when he came back, and tried to, make amends for his actions. So, electricity was out in Texas, power was out in Texas, people, boiling ice, boiling the snow, just so they could drink water. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I wanted to get your thoughts on Senator Ted Cruz.
Hey, well, listen, I'll start that thing off, man. I just think that it was appalling, man, just for him just to flee and leave millions of Texans, man, behind, man, with no electricity. Like you said, Keith, no electricity, no heat, no water, all that stuff, man. And then you want to blame it on your kids. He basically said, yeah, I took my daughters over there so that I could drop them off. Right. Come on, man. You gonna drop them off? Man, on a quick sidebar, this kind of reminded me real quick, man, of Chris Christie. Remember
on the beach.
Remember he shut the beaches down?
I remember that.
He shut the beaches down for everybody.
No, he didn't. He shut it down for him.
Yeah, that's true.
Basically.
Yeah, he shut it down for him. Yeah. And he's on the beach, but can't nobody else get on there. But let me just go back to this.
I think that was a little different.
You right on money, E. You right on the money, man.
Man, listen, it was just like, it's just appalling, man. And then they said, the New York Times said that some group text messages,
from the wife.
Yeah,
from the wife, that they was planning that.
They was planning it the whole week. Yeah.
Come on, man. Sad, bro.
Hey,
she was calling her high power. She was calling her high-powered rich friends, saying that we got a resort. If y'all want to come, we got the tickets, we got the resort. So this whole thing was in the works while the people of Texas were suffering, man.
Yes.
You know, and that right there just shows the level of how politicians are self-serving. You know, you want to see your leadership engaged in times of crisis. You know, you can't be my leader only when times are going good. All right. So what? The power grid ain't winterized in Texas. So what? I want to see my leadership engaged in times of crisis. Don't come back throwing out bottles of water because you got caught and you try to blame your family. You know, don't try to do it in hindsight. This was poor judgment on his part to do so in a time of crisis. Leadership has to remain. You don't just look out for your family when you are a public servant. All right. You can't just think about your family. There are millions of other families that have to be at the forefront of your concern. Number one, because that is your position in life. So you got to think about all these other millions of families, some that have lost there was an 11-year-old boy that froze to death in his bed, you know, and you flying off to Cancun. No, you cannot be self-serving in these times of crisis. Abandoning ship. The captain's supposed to go down with the ship.
Right. You got to be in that battlefield, man.
Hey, the Titanic captain didn't. But hey,
yes, he did.
I got, yeah, he did. I got a little different take. I know he did, but I got a different take on it. You know what I mean? I kind of, you got to think about it. If you were in that situation, wouldn't you want to protect your family? If you had the means to get your family to somewhere where they're safe, warm, got power. But hear me out. Hear me out. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if I did have a family and that happened, and I had the means to like get my family to somewhere to where they're safe, yeah, I'm gonna do it. The only thing I didn't like about it was the way he did it. Don't sit there and lie about it. You know what I mean? And I understand, yes, he is a leadership. I would have got my family out.
You would have stayed?
I would have stayed, but I would have got them out. I would have got my wife and my kids out, but I wouldn't let them sit there and suffer.
Okay.
But as me being, you know, they're not elected, I am. So I would tough it out and make sure, you know, that my, you know, everybody in my constituents and all that were, you know, I'm trying to get them help. You know, it's not like, you know, he's just a politician. He's not in the field of actually going out and getting the power back on himself. So it's like, really, what can he do? So you can dictate things, you know, programs, getting out water and things like that. But hey, man, I just didn't like the way he did it. You know, you first said, oh yeah, my daughter wanted to take a trip and I'm trying to drop her off. But then when you do come back, you say, well, yeah, we were supposed to stay the weekend, but you know, I had doubts when I first sat down on the plane. Bullshit.
He's saying that because he got busted.
Yeah, because he got busted. But I still say bullshit because if you had second thoughts, you would have got up and not went.
Yeah.
But you went.
Yeah.
There's
other places that he could have took that family to other than a luxury resort in Cancun.
It is
you could have went to a neighboring state. You could have used your influence to go to a neighboring state to provide provision. To provide provision to your family. You could have did that very easily.
He was trying to visit his people.
But here's what he did. He abused his power by using the police to escort him to the airport. That's an abuse and misuse of power.
Yeah, that's definitely wrong.
He also abused his authority by going to going to Mexico on a flight during a pandemic. His kids are in school.
What
he's
do you mean? There's people flying all the time.
I don't care. Shakur, but you're criticized by bringing this by your children going there, coming back. They're doing in-person learning. Okay, that affects everybody. So you got to think of all these things before you make that decision.
Speaking of a pandemic, I don't know what it is in Texas, but when he got back, he was out and about. Aren't you supposed to quarantine?
You supposed to
quarantine.
That's the part
like I said, the way he did it.
Right. The misuse and abuse of power.
Here's my thing. Why do you need to escort your family? Can't you just send them on a plane without you leaving? You're going to take them there, riding over with them, and then riding back. That's
I gotta make sure they get there. He
wanted to get his drink on too.
He wanted to eat some sushi and drink some mojitos and margaritas.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go for a mojito right now.
I definitely could go for one.
Catherine said he left his
leadership.
dog.
I want to see my leadership engaged. Yeah. My leadership got to stay engaged. And the first thing on leadership's mind is, what do we need to do to get these people clean water? To get them to get this electrical grid back on. What do we need to do? A senator alone, number one, Ted Cruz alone couldn't do it by himself. But it is nice to see that my leader is advocating. Right. It's nice to see my leader advocating on behalf of the millions of people. The millions of people. You stay right there. All right. You go ahead and send your family. All right. But you need to stay. All right. But you got to think about the consequences. Again, you sending your family on the flight in a pandemic. The kids are in school. There's so many other intricate things that you are overlooking and not thinking about, because you know that you're going to abuse your power to get your way. They are self-serving.
They all are. So don't make it different.
You still there? I thought you faded out for a second.
Who, me?
Yeah, I thought you faded out for a second.
Oh no, I'm here.
All right. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some good content.
We are back again for Weekends with Wilds Worldwide. Come on in. Get your people, like, share, text, tag. Tell all your people to come on in. It is Weekends with Wilds Worldwide. We are back after a weekend break. I appreciate you guys, so come on in.
And one of the things, and let me piggyback off of that, is that, and once you begin that process of the healing, don't allow anybody to take you back to who you used to be.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I just want to remind you that if you have a pulse, it is because you have a purpose. You put two fingers on your inner wrist, and if you feel something, it is because God put you here for some reason. Find your purpose and walk in it. I love you guys, and I will see you back here next Saturday at 10 a.m. for the Diva Den. For real this time, it's the Diva Den weekend, this weekend coming up. I'll see you guys later, and thank you so much for your participation. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
What up? Welcome back.
That was hot, man. That was hot.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
I feel like I just got off an elevator.
That was beautiful. That was so classy.
Hey, welcome back.
This is so classy.
Y'all stupid. Check Alyssa Wiles out on Wiles Worldwide on Saturdays at 10 o'clock. Dope conversation. She has a special guest on the third Saturdays of every month. This dude is amazing. So check him out. His name is Keith Hall.
Man, selfish promo, selfish plug there. Self-serving.
Check her out. If you can, and check her content out on Wiles Worldwide. And she have the Divas Den where the sisters, they get it in and they talk and have some great content over there. So she's definitely a supporter of ours, and we're a supporter of hers. So if you can, everybody, thanks for joining us again. I'm Keith. I'm your host on Just Our Thoughts. I'm here with the fellas. Got the Professor, Warheem, and E-Dub on here.
Let's get it in.
I got one more thing, man. I want to show y'all. And
let's chop it up.
Would you say, Katie?
Let's chop it up, man. Show us. We can slice that thing up.
Here we go. I want to check this video out. I want to get y'all content. I mean, get y'all y'all thoughts.
Accountability, taking congregations to task for not serving the community in their estimation as those churches should. They say something doesn't add up when a pastor makes a lot of money, drives a luxury car, and yet the people who live near his church are in poverty. A scuffle inside the sanctuary after New Era Detroit protests during a worship service. Bro, let me go, man. Let's go. Zeke, the leader of the group, offered no apologies for the dust-up at Great Faith Ministry Saturday, only the reasoning behind it.
This situation is bigger than just Wayne T. Jackson. This is about black churches and black pastors who live a lavish life on behalf of the people, and they're not giving back to their community.
He's referring to Bishop Wayne T. Jackson, the wealthy pastor that welcomed Donald Trump, drives a Rolls Royce, and lives in a mansion. Zeke was there for the offering Saturday.
When they started the offering at $1,000, and then they said if you don't got $1,000, then do $300. And if you don't got cash, then we got ATM machines. I don't understand that logic. I don't understand that way of thinking, and I don't understand that to be what religion is.
New Era Detroit says the neighborhood surrounding Great Faith Ministries is by and large impoverished.
This guy has networks, churches, fancy cars, you know what I mean, $1 million houses, and there's babies in this community that's going without food at night. Somebody has to be frustrated about this enough to do something that will get people's attention.
Yo,
wow.
Yo,
Ward, I need you to, if you can, I need you to lay the context of that video out in terms of, first of all, that sounded like Ice Cube for a second. It reminded me of Cube.
The Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
You did remind me of Cube on Boys in the Hood. But Ward, if you can, man, can you lay that out for me in terms of the context? Now, you know, we know that is like a year or two old, right?
Yeah. This is a couple years old because I seen it a while ago. From what I remember was the brother was a leader of a group outside of the church. They weren't affiliated with the church at all, but they entered the church because they wanted to bring that to the attention of the people that were there, because it's like, you know, everybody's showing up and they just giving their money. But it's crazy how, you know, you got this pastor that's driving around and, you know, in $100,000 car, you know, living in a mansion, asking for $1,000, and then it's like, oh, if you can't do 1,000 here, get 300. What do you? Why are you trying to put a stipulation on how much you want me to donate? A donation is a donation. I don't care if it's $1, $5. It's a donation. It's what I can give, because, you know, ultimately I have to think about myself first. You know, I can't give you $1,000 if that $1,000 is going to, you know, stop me from feeding my children and taking care of my wife.
Right.
That's not going to happen. You got an ATM machine in the church. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't get it, because and I'm just going to say this. That's one of the things that kind of kept me out of the church from the beginning, was, you know, the fact that, you know, a lot of these pastors always want, you know, they're always putting the offering out. It's like, you know, offering after offering after offering. Because I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother, she was a member of the church down the street from you know, from where we grew up, from the house, and she came home one day pissed. She was pissed. She was like, "Do you believe they're asking us for offering to buy the pastor a new computer?" And I even asked, I'm like, well, don't he got a job? He could buy his own computer. You know what I mean? It's like certain things. I mean, if it's for the church, I can understand. If it's to pay an electric bill, if it's to, you know, and I'm just going to put it out there, if it's for things that I know that KD does in his church, cool. Because I understand you're supposed to give back to the community. Not fatten your pockets. If you're coming to church and you preaching in an Armani suit, you got Gucci this and Louis Vuitton that, and then your parishioners, I mean, and they're just coming in jeans and that's all they can afford. there's to me that's a disconnect, and it's the whole religion thing has something to
for me, and this, this could be a long conversation. First of all, this is one of the reasons why we created this platform, is to talk about things that, people struggle with, to have these conversations and to be able to get different sides. You guys know I've been to church for a very, very long time, and I've seen a lot behind the scenes, and things that people don't know or don't see, and different things. So, but we created this because we want to have these conversations. This conversation, when it comes to the Black church and money, has been a conversation that's been going on for years. That pastors exploiting parishioners, and they're driving this and they're driving that and they're driving certain cars and having this amount of money. It's this conversation. So this is one of the main reasons we talked earlier about having this platform to have these conversations. So I wanted to put that out there, because I was able to see the other side, of things. I remember at my old church, people would say, and it was funny as heck to me because I could see it. People would say that we had an ATM. People would say we had a grocery store. I'll never forget that. And neither one of them was true. But from the outside, people had a lot to say off of what other people were saying, and then, like anything, it continues to roll, and the story builds up and the story blows up. None of it was true. There wasn't an ATM in there. There wasn't a shopping or a grocery store up in there, and I would hear these stories. And after a while, you'd be like, doesn't matter, that these people are saying that because they haven't even been on the inside of the church, and this is definitely a conversation, man, that we could touch on, and continue to touch on. I want to get the rest of the fellas' thoughts on that.
Real quick, let me touch on that. Rob Tufnell says something very important, man.
What did he say?
Rob
is always saying something important.
No, Rob Tufnell said transparency, and I think that's important, man, because you need to show where those dollars are going. You just can't take up that collection and say, okay, I'm paying the bills. Let me see an itemization of where this money is going. Basically, this pastor that we showed earlier, he's lining his pockets, man. In a poverty-stricken neighborhood, that tells you, man, there's some hypocrisy going on, man. Within that community, man.
Yeah. It's all about checks and balances with anything. You don't just have this type of greed happening in the Black church, but it happens in the white church as well.
Definitely.
You have these white televangelists who have airplanes and things of that nature. Just to say the least. So, people have used religion for decades to profit off of people.
Oh, definitely.
But when it comes to the Black church, there has to be accountability. You got to have a finance committee. You got to have your trustee board set up because they are the ones that are responsible for the distribution of funds, where these funds go. You got to have your checks and balances when you're dealing with people's monies, their investment into your ministry. If you don't have that type of checks and balances, then the optics will not look good. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to show your income and your expenses for the church. Now, is it wrong for a pastor to be salaried? No, it's not. But you got to also show what you are reinvesting into the community as well. You got to show what you're doing. I heard the man say, all the houses and the homes are impoverished around you, and it's not necessarily the job of the church to improve housing conditions, but it is vital that your leadership, clergy, your pastors will advocate to the powers that be to mobilize to fight against many of the injustices in the neighborhood, and that's out of the playbook of Dr. King. They used the church as a center for mobilization and organization to fight against systemic racial ills. They came for the spiritual food, but church was the hub and was the headquarters to mobilize about social injustice. So one of the things that the church is responsible for, it is what is going on in the community that I'm living. What are the needs of those that are in my community, even if they don't attend my church? There still should be a need to connect with the community that your church is located. So is it wrong for the pastor to drive a big car and stuff like that? While it's debatable, you got to say that the optics are very important. Perception is very important when it comes to what a pastor is driving or the big house and things like that, especially when you don't really see any fruit of the ministry in the neighborhood where the church is located. It gives you the sense that the funds are being misused. When you see leadership, let me just finish this point. When you see leadership, when it looks like leadership is benefiting from the monies that's going in, and the church doesn't really have anything tangible to show, not just for its members, but for the community as a whole as well. That's why I make it, I'm very big on my feeding program, because there has to be something other than church service going on in your church. There has to be an outreach to the community to meet the needs of the people. Jesus not only preached and healed, but he fed the people as well. You know what I'm saying? So he was concerned about the eternal needs of the people. He also saw that the physical needs had to be met as well. So the church should offer, and what we don't have to offer, we need to be able to direct people into the direction that they should go to get the help that they need.
I think
let me just say this real quick, Keith. I wouldn't have a problem with that pastor, flaunting some money if he made his money off of like book sales, record sales, if he had some type of product that he was selling outside of the church, but not in there asking his parishioners for this amount of money and that amount of money for this collection and that collection to line his pockets. And that's mainly what I believe the brother was getting at, that he was, this pastor's lining his pockets off the parishioners and not actually, putting a product out there that was for sale, that he was getting money off. If you got a number one, if you got the bestseller, that's one thing. But if you just,
or even if you got a job outside the church.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? If you got another
you might have a good
income
job
stream outside of ministry, that's your money that's coming in. That's not anything
fine
that I'm receiving from the church, but still the perception is what you have to be wary of as well.
Yeah,
because
you can't be buying a car.
There is a disconnect.
You can't be buying your wife a car to say, I'm sorry for cheating on you.
All right, don't talk about nobody specifically. I know who we talk about.
I remember, and I think it was and y'all remind me, man, I could be wrong. I think it was in Dr. King's speech to Americas when he was in Memphis, Tennessee. He in his speech, wasn't that the Two Americas ones? The Two Americas speech?
So. I believe so.
Yeah, for the sanitation workers. I remember he said, in that speech, a lot of people are talking about, our streets flowing with milk and honey, but God commanded us to help people have 3 meals a day, and I think that's important, to make sure that people are eating, when you're in that position. You want to live a healthy lifestyle, and whatever healthy looks like, You know what I mean? Everyone's healthiness is different, but I think you do want to continue to serve people. I will say this though, as a if I'm a parishioner and I'm in a congregation, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna struggle following a leader that's irresponsible. I'm gonna struggle with that. I want to make sure, I hope that my
irresponsible
leader,
in what ways though?
Irresponsible with his finances, irresponsible with his decision making.
All right.
I'm okay, honestly. My pastor, if he had whatever type of suit that he had on, you know, and whatever car he has, I think me personally, and this is why we had these conversations, that never affected me. I remember when I forget the pastor out of Atlanta suggested or asked for money. What is it? Creflo. For people to support him with buying a plane.
Yeah, I remember. That was a few years
I remember that. And for me, to be honest with you, I wouldn't do that. But it's your decision that you have a decision and a choice in if you want to support him or not. We do.
You have
just
your decision.
Just like in the church, if that pastor asks for $1,000, you got a decision if you're gonna give it or not. You know what I'm saying? And one of the decisions makes it easy if you ain't got it to give. You know, I think that's our responsibility in it is takes away from we take the responsibility of the individual out of it, I think. You know what I'm saying? But you know, pastors have, just like you guys said, traditionally exploited, you know, congregation members, you know, for their money, and they went different ways with their money and did different things, and was, you know, not the leader that they were supposed to, that we held them, the standards that we held them to.
Yeah. But isn't that decision with the money more or less, you know, you say you don't have it to give, but you know, I hear some of these churches, depending on how much you do give, is where you sit in the church. And if you ain't giving nothing, they can run your ass up right out of the church.
I don't know no church that do that.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. Now see, a lot of so-called men and women of God, they use gimmicks to raise money. And that's what you got to be aware of. You know, a lot of different churches on TV, not on TV, they have a way of having a lot of gimmicks to get you to get money. You know, you talking about a different seat in the church. I don't know anything about that, but
remember the guy that threw the water on people?
They have these the healing water, the healing cloth.
Yeah.
They've had, you know, there was one woman who said, you know, we got the $20 line for the blessing. We got a $50 blessing line. We got a $100 blessing line. You know, you choose your line for your. A lot of people use gimmicks, you know what I'm saying, to take money from people. And that's what you got to see through. Everything in raising money and offerings are not of God. And people have to see through that. These are just mechanisms and strategies on how to get money from people, you know what I'm saying? And they all had that. The other thing I want to say is that, like, in this time of pandemic, a lot of churches have been affected because you're not getting that consistent in-person visitation like churches were prior to the pandemic, you know. So churches have to have been more creative. You know, my church, we offer Venmo, you know, we offer the Cash App ways to send in your gift, you know. Again, we don't put a dollar amount on your blessing, whatever it is that you're able to send, because we know that families are struggling in the pandemic right now. You know, no way. You know, I don't believe a church should be asking a member for $1,000. You know what I'm saying? That's like my $1,400 stimulus check. I'm waiting for that to come. You asking for that? Yo, I need that. You know, so you got to think about the condition that people are going through as churches are being hit hard in the pandemic. Still, we got to put the priority on the people. You know what I'm saying? And this pandemic has shown us that the building itself, the church itself, that facility is not the church. The church is the people. You feel me? We are the temple. You know what I'm saying? And through this pandemic, we still are able to connect and have ministry through these various different forms that really is taking ministry to places that we would have never thought. So in a sense, the pandemic has been able to push ministry a little bit further, because people see that the emphasis is not on the tangible stuff, the clothes, the cars, the facility, or things like that. It's really on how you can benefit others through the mediums that we have now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
I think I wonder, Ward, if you're referring to, or if you can talk to the broken individual that now starts attending church, the broken one that's looking for some type of support. You know what I'm saying? The broken person that is steps.
You trying to say I'm broken?
No. Because you ain't going in no church.
I'm not going in church.
But like the broken person, man, the one that needs to be healed, the one that's struggling, the one that's looking for something, you know what I mean? A spark or something. And they've heard for years that the church is the place that can help you. The church is the place that can support you. And they come into church and now they begin to follow. You know, I wonder if these are some of the stories that people have talked about, you know, for years, where it's like, now I'm following and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, you know, and, you know, I'm giving, and my lights are off. You know what I'm saying? My, you know, I can't, I'm catching a bus to two or three buses to get to work. You know what I'm saying? And by the time I get home, you know, trying to get to work, I spent a lot of money just even trying to get there. You know what I'm saying? You know, some it's stories like that, you know, over the years, you know, that where people struggle with the giving of the church.
I mean, it's like everybody needs something. Like, you know, maybe that one person does need that spiritual guidance. That's the one thing that they're missing in their life. You know, like personally, I don't think I'm missing that. But you know, somebody may feel as though, you know, something is missing in their life, and that was to fill their void.
Right.
So I can understand that, and I'm not going to knock it, and I'm not going to knock religion. You know, it's just not for me.
Word, are you an atheist?
You know? No, I'm not an atheist. No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't think so. No. He said he's not. No, I was like,
that's crazy.
No,
I don't like my brother for years. I said,
right.
It's the organized religion. The organized religion.
I don't like that. Because to me, basically, religion is man-made anyway. It started with man. It wasn't like, you know, God put forth, this is going to be your religion. No, it was, you know, the people started it. You know, and it just gets me about, and I'm not going to get all into the religion part of it, but you know, it's everybody is going to believe in something, and people are going to seek what they need to fill their void. So,
okay,
cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
You wrap it up with that, man?
But listen, the church should offer more. You know, every church should be able to offer more. You know, people are dealing with real life issues, mental health. You're dealing with sexuality issues. You're dealing with so many mental health illnesses. The church has to be prepared in this modern age to be able to deal with so much more other than just paying the bills or collecting an offering. I wholeheartedly believe that. There has to be a demographic of the population that your church can specialize in serving. If it's addiction counseling, if it's mental health services, if it's feeding the poor, if it's trying to reduce the recidivism rate of Black men going back to jail, your ministry should offer something to the community to show that it's not just there, you know, in an effort to be a business, but it has to be about my Father's business in a spiritual aspect. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it is. When you're trying to give tools and you're trying to help sharpen individuals, you're really trying to pour into their spirit. You know what I'm saying? You're really trying to pour people that need direction. They need a career path. You know, the church can help mentor young men in the direction that they need to go so that they can learn the basic tools of life. You got 35, 40-year-old people, men that don't have the tools necessary to live independently on their own. You know,
right.
and church should be able to offer these tools to men to improve the quality of their life, not just men and women. You know, there's one preacher that I do admire. His name is Jamal Bryant in Atlanta, Georgia, and Jamal is fly and flashy, and he can give a word that is so dynamic. And while he's had some scandals related to him, not with money but with other things, this man has paid money to get hundreds of people out of jail. When he went to the church was in debt, about to be foreclosed on. He paid the off. He has a feeding program. Everything that you can imagine that helps to minister to that county of Georgia that the church resides in. He is there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and anything and everything you could think of that the church should offer and above. I admire that dude because his hands are in every facet of improve. Right now, he's got everybody in the season of Lent walking. They're walking with the pastor every day for the next 40 days because now he's focusing on people's health, you know, because traditionally Black people in the church have been unhealthy, you know what I'm saying? And again, it's because of the foods that Black people in the church eat, you know, those fried foods, you know, after a funeral and a repast, you know, we getting back for some fried chicken, right? Some mac and cheese.
Don't forget that red punch full of sugar.
that red punch full of sugar, that whole bag go oof. Right,
some collard greens and some hot sauce too.
Yeah. Man. You know, so it's really tapping into the whole person, body, soul, spirit. You know, the employment, the education, the spiritual, the emotional, the mental needs of an individual. It's got to be a holistic ministry. If it's not a holistic ministry, you are robbing the people of a service that people are desperately in need of, especially in a pandemic where lives are being lost almost daily.
Yeah. I think you know, we also don't want to take away from those churches, man, that aren't highlighted as much. I know we can see the ones that's been on TV, you know, for years, you know, and those, you know, like Donnie Crisdon, Big Bro says, you know, there are many churches that are doing many of those things. Just because one doesn't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. And, you know, I can honestly say, man, I can literally say 100%, you know, that I've seen a lot of work being done, you know, some highlighted in a good way, some highlighted, you know, just to bring more people in, man. And the little stuff, man, that in terms of the stuff that you don't see, man, bills being paid. You know what I'm saying? I, you know, had a great opportunity to see like literally bills being paid and people happy. And this is behind the scene. Nobody's, you know, bringing anybody up front, you know, and talk about a bill being played and waving it in the air or anything like that. But it's those things that make a difference that's behind the scenes that we don't see. It's the they have an ATM machine, they have this, they have that, they have this, the pastor is driving a big car, you know, but it's those little things that's being done behind the scenes that nobody knows that's making a difference, you know. So this is definitely a great conversation where it's so many different variables that fall within, you know, have, you know, when you still do have, you know, pastors exploiting congregations, man, you know, the members, you know, so
but for those churches out there that are doing doing the right thing, keep on doing it.
Absolutely, man.
Because it has to be a place of change and transformation, you know. Helping addicts get off drugs and helping men kind of forge their life and their path, helping women who are struggling, single mothers. You got to help give direction to all these people who are struggling. So it should be a place of transformation and change, and not a place that is going to, try to take the little bit that you do have. And there are a lot of great ministries out there that are doing a lot of great things.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I just think that there are some pastors and some congregations, man, that just, mislead the other communities of what's happening. The few of them are just kind of giving a lot of them just a bad rap.
Yeah. I think, what's interesting is what's interesting when it comes to our people, we don't trust. We don't trust.
Yeah.
Nope. We don't trust.
Yeah.
And I don't want to use the Sixers thing.
Trust the process.
We don't trust the process, but we don't trust when we talk about the vaccine. We don't trust when we talk about churches,
valid reasons why.
Say that again, AD.
Valid reasons why, though.
Yeah, and valid reasons why. I don't.
Ever since we came here, we've been bamboozled over everything.
But
so what do we do though?
Huh?
But
what do we do? Do we just stay stagnant in terms of not trusting? And
no.
You got to learn how to trust, because Black people, not only have we been hurt by white America, we've been hurt by one another. You know what I'm saying? We've been hurt by family members. We've been hurt by people that look just like us as children, as grown adults, on our jobs, in our communities, in our schools. We've been hurt by one another, and we have become very distrustful of one another. You know what I'm saying? And the hurt that I had, long time ago, I project that right here and now. A lot of people, they jump from church to church to church because they have been hurt by church people. So they're looking for a place that I can go where I won't get hurt anymore. You know what I'm saying? But you're not going to find that. The church is for a bunch of hurt folk. One of the side effects is that you're going to get hurt by somebody in the church. But I can't take that hurt and project it on the next ministry that I'm going into. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you gotta expect that the worst of people is going to come out no matter where you go. Church, work, home, whatever, but I don't have the option of, I don't have the option of leaving work, going to a new job. I ain't got the option of finding a new family when I get hurt. You know what I'm saying? But you see a lot of people that move from church to church trying to find the grass greener on the other side. You know what I'm saying? They ain't taking enough money. Well, that's just you, Ward. That's you. All right. But what you have in common is the hurt. All right.
Right.
You were hurt in the previous. Be careful you don't project that hurt on the next relationship, that you can't trust them. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we take into. That's what we take into every relationship. Relationships on the job, relationships in church. We take that same hurt stuff and we project it on the next person without even giving them an opportunity to see what they can offer us.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Now, fellas, man, we had some good conversation, man. We're gonna go to this quick intro, and then we gonna wrap this thing up.
Shopping bags, they way down her arm.
That's my cut.
What you got, Warren, for the man's law? What you got?
All right, today's man law. We going with man law number 1.
Whoa.
And man law, number 1.
Before you go to that one, that means this is the most important one.
I think it is. Okay,
really hold up.
To me it is. To me it's huh? I don't know. You might want to take a swig of that mason jar you've been.
Nah, this is my this is some mint leaf.
You sure there ain't no shine?
Nah, this is some mint leaf, man.
That look like what Damon Wayans be having on that Living Color, that jar.
Oh man, got his bathroom with the pickle floating in it.
Oh man.
All right, let's do this so we can get out, so we can wrap this up. All right, man law number 1. Respect. respect goes both ways. One gives respect to get respect, and vice versa. Basically, treat people like you want them to treat you. That's all I got.
That's got you. Respect,
sounds like
man.
the Bible to me. Sound like something straight out the Holy Word.
don't need the Bible to earn.
That's
learn
where
respect.
that's his origin, though. You know. Thank you for taking me to church, Ward. Ward just took me to church.
Oh man!
Hey! Thank you.
Respect, brother. Much respect.
Yes, sir. Hey, that's man law. That's Ward's man law number 1. I want to thank everybody for joining us on Just Our Thoughts. Go to Just Our Thoughts on YouTube. Please subscribe. Again, it don't cost you a thing. Share our page, and just continue to come on out. We'll be back in two more weeks with some more content, some more conversation. Hit us up, interact with us. We appreciate you for taking this time out, this hour and 20 minutes. With the fellas, with Just Our Thoughts, we appreciate you.
INF, one last thing, please. A shout out to Tawana Wawa Green Jones. Okay, she has been in the hood on Code Blue, had Yorkshire School with people that were homeless. She has been providing shelter round the clock. Okay,
has she ever went home?
I don't think she went home. All right, but she's been down there round the clock housing people during Code Blue for weeks now. Shout out to her. She's been. I got to get down there and give her a donation. But if you can get down there, she's been looking for men to do various shifts down there to provide some sense of security. So, get down there, and if you can donate your time, your efforts, your gifts, your whatever, do it, because she's doing a great thing in Camden City. Wawa, yo, you're dope, yo.
Yeah.
Love Wawa. Another episode, amazing one with the fellas. This is Just Our Thoughts. We appreciate you. Peace.
Peace.